Alright guys, welcome back to VALORANT News. The VCT is about to get back underway in the Americas and around the world. EMEA though went down yesterday with some surprising results, it's got to be said, in terms of the fashion of one of the major defeats that was noted. But also TenZ, just a few days after Zeltis gave his thoughts on the referees and his frustrations with the way they were handling things in the Americas, TenZ now arguably implies a similar thing might go on with the in-ear earbuds. He reckons that he's going to bring his own to the party, but he's not sure Riot will actually allow him to use them. Very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I would greatly appreciate. Plenty to dive into. Thought this is actually really cool as well here. Valo2Asia point out that India's Prime Minister Modi actually met up with lots of esports gaming community guys, including, however, of course, SK Rossi. Now for Revenant Esports, he was on Global Esports, of course, most recently last year, and look, they made some changes to that team. They've made some progress in some parts, but I think really a lot of Global Esports fans are looking at that team last year and they're thinking, damn, we had some really talented players there, certainly with what Texture and Monyet, for example, have gone on to do, but didn't really capitalize on the potential maybe that they had at the time. But I'm cool to see SK Rossi still doing good things, because obviously a very fun player to watch indeed. Now Zand thought this is interesting tonight because for esports they're looking rather good right now, but as he says here, I wanted to clarify that he remains under contract with FUT Esports throughout the split, strengthening the team, but I left it open that I can go to a team at any time, as my dream is to play as a franchise team. So we'll see if Zand gets an opportunity elsewhere. I think he's a solid player that should get a chance, but yeah, FUT Esports are kind of killing it right now, it's got to be said, right? They had a good victory a couple of days ago. No doubt things are very competitive right now in EMEA, but one region where things are maybe slightly less competitive is the Americas Challenger side. Just a few results to dive into here over the last couple of days. YFP Gaming going down here as expected at Oxygen Esports. They get a clean win. Dapper had a great series as well here as well. It was cool to see, to be fair, because Dapper, it's not like he's been their worst performing player. Obviously a very solid player, formerly of the Sentinels days, of course, but he's joined this team as one of the more veteran figures, and he's clearly helping out the squad. It was a 15-13 bagger on the split, but in the sunset was pretty emphatic 13-8 in the end on the YFP pick. So it was interesting. Dapper went 28-11 here on the Cypher to win in the sunset, almost a time single-handedly. YFP though put up a fight, but yeah, this Oxygen team is a little bit too strong as it stands. This is the way things look then in that region. There's actually one more to look at, and this one was a little bit ugly, to be fair. Together We Are Terrific versus Moist Chobify. Suppose it wasn't embarrassing and it wasn't, quite Together We Are terrible as they seemed the other day, but nonetheless 13-9 Breeze, 13-7 here on the Lotus for MXS. So they move on. They stand 4-0 in the group so far. Oxygen are 3-1, and these groups are, on paper at least, more competitive than what we see elsewhere, to be honest, because in some of the other actual franchise regions, you will see that many of these numbers are rather similar, as in 0-1, 0-1, 0-1 for one group, and then the other group is winning. But in this case, of course, they play within group rather than cross group so far, and that's why we see results kind of like this that are inevitable, because if you're not playing cross group, the numbers have to look like this, because if somebody wins, somebody has to lose. But this is the way that things are going right now in the Challenger side, and as Dapper says, yeah, old man still got it type thing. So it would be really cool for a storyline for Dapper, wouldn't it, if that Oxygen Esports team, because to me, it's M80, and then it's MXS, and then it's Oxygen, really. Like, Turtle 2 were pretty good. They got a win against TSM, actually a 2-0 the other day as well. That was 13-11, 13-8, yeah, on the Lotus in the end. So, like, they're pretty good also, but to me, it's, like, really MXS, Oxygen, M80, and then I guess, we'll see if there's a team like the Union again from Brazil that can put up a fight, but, last year, I think it was quite clear that the best team from the North American stuff was probably the one that was going to be winning Ascension. This is China, by the way, just real quick, because I wanted to refresh and see how the games are currently getting on. We do have one game currently underway, Gen.G versus Nova, which has gone map 3, Nova up 6-2 here, so the Chinese side is back underway. But in EMEA, wow, we have some series here to dive into. So BBL versus Movistar KOI. KOI, man, this team ain't great. And on paper, they don't look that bad. But you gotta say, like, the downfall of guys like Shados and Starkso has been pretty ugly to watch at times. And yeah, this team got blown apart by BBL here. This wasn't even close. 13-4, 13-3, wasn't it? Yeah, it was bad. The Icebox was 9-3 at the half, and then they just ran away with it. it's interesting to see how this Turkish scene right now is kind of, really blooming, I suppose. They've got the BBL team that's delivering results like this. Of course, that for esports team now with CNED really back delivering great performances with his countrymen. It's great to see. And, two top Turkish teams really putting the pain to some of these other rosters right now. So, yeah, lots to say on that one. But this was the series that really caught the attention in EMEA yesterday, was Liquid versus Na'Vi. Because, man, Liquid have a history of choking in certain important moments, and this is another such example because every game on this type of level is rather important. Qualifying for the playoffs, especially in EMEA, where it is very competitive, it doesn't seem like an especially top-heavy league. Fnatic already lost the other week to Heretics, and then Heretics lost 2 days ago, so it's not like there's a dominant force right now in EMEA. Na'Vi are good, Liquid should be good, and they are good until they need to close out a map, in which case they ain't so good anymore. So, yeah, you got to feel for Nats in some ways, because I still think he's an absolute top player, but this team isn't really working, and what it is about these moments, and Na'Vi are good at capitalizing on these type of situations, but, I mean, the Lotus, they won 13-10. The split, I mean, how is it possible to lose a series from here? Na'Vi's pick, you win 10 offensive rounds out of the first 11 on your side. Na'Vi look lost. They look completely hopeless, and it looks like Team Liquid are dominating the game and ready to crush it. But no, somehow Na'Vi win the final round, still 10-2 half. Wow, there's no way back for Team Liquid. But no, they simply can't hold on their defense. And sure, split maybe over time has become slightly easier for some of the attacking teams, and it takes teams like Sentinels that are really good at retaking to make these things happen. But wow, I mean, like, just look at this. They bring it back. Eventually, TL win a round when it was basically too late. They lose 13-11. And then, of course, at that point, the mental is gone. They lose another 8 rounds in a row. So it's like, that is just, I mean, have a look at this. Up 10-1 on the verge of winning a series. And then they lost, 11 of the next 12, and then they lost the next 8 in a row. So they lost 19 rounds almost in a row with 1 reply. So that was certainly ugly, but wanted to share a couple of clips here, especially from what TenZ had to say on the Earbud situation at the events.
Yippee!
You can miss tomorrow, thank you, fraud region. Chill, bro.
Yippee! Victory Royale! Yippee!
Yeah, I wish I hadn't missed the Liquid game, bro. That was...
They had a Shaquille O'Neal trip.
No, Sam. Liquid lost a 10-1 lead to win the game.
Yeah, I know. Just goes here.
No sniper, eh? Fuck, I missed that?
He was there.
He was right. 10-1 is crazy. I'm not gonna cap. 10-1, I might have I'm glad I wasn't there because I low-key would have put everything on Liquid. If they had lost, I would have lost my shit. Well, I guess they didn't lose, so when they lost, I would have lost my shit. What's up, Sherry? That's a crazy toss. I don't know how you fucking lose 10-1. It must have been absolute disaster. 10-2, and then Na'Vi just won 10 rounds in a row. 11? No, 10. Holy fuck. If you're watch party, you would have been so nice. Like games, like he's too nice, especially because he said that, yeah, he's like little brother. Yeah, I got no little brothers over there.
I'm trying out the what's it called? The IEMs that we use on stage, which are the Shure SE846. I'm trying it out today because we have to use these in-ears on stage anyways, but I won't lie, there's been a lot of not so great sound issues on stage while I'm playing the game. So I'm like, okay, I think I should just bring my own in-ears in that are the same brands as the ones that we use on stage because we're not allowed to use different in-ears, and seeing how that works. But I'm trying out these ones for my Shures because we're forced to use these ones at the America's VCT LAN. And also, okay, if they tell me I can't use my own in-ear of the same model, then them, because that'd be completely stupid. But I don't see it being out of the possibility. But I'm just gonna bring mine anyways, and I don't know. I just find that my in-ears on stage, I cannot hear anything, and it hurts really bad because the ear tips are just not good for me. So
there are certainly some parallels here with what Zeltis was calling out the other day, the tech issues that Sentinels dealt with in their series when they made the return, right? Of course, Gen.G had just turned up. They were told, Zeltis and the guys, hey, we've got audio issues, we know, but let's just do the walkouts and then we can fix them once you're back to the stations. Then they got back to the stations and Zeltis and the boys were told, yep, nice job, guys, and yeah, let's get right into the game, right? And therefore they were dealing with these audio problems during the series. So just kind of to clarify here, what often happens is they'll have the in-ear buds that TenZ is talking about. They give you the actual game audio and stuff like this, the team audio, and then you have the actual headset they'll put on, which is usually white noise to block out like crowd noise and stuff like this. So they're kind of, you know, zoned in, which is usually how these things go. And it makes sense, you know, there's going to be a brand that they're sponsored by for using the in-ear buds. So they're obviously going to have the same brand, and TenZ is like, well, look, if I bring the same brand, if I bring the same exact version along, why are they going to care? But it's like, I can see them caring, you know. Personally, I can see the referee saying, well, you know, are we sure we want to do this? This is the one you've been supplied with, TenZ, so this is the one you're going to have to use. Even if it's not great, it has problems. There's audio issues with those particular ones that TenZ wants resolved if he brings his own version. But they might say, well, how do we know that it's compliant with the rules? Or, I don't know, it's difficult to say. But you've got to think that it might be possible that they kick up a bit of a fuss about TenZ trying to do this. And also the thing that really got to me was that, as he says, the in-ear things, like the adapters basically that you put on the end of the earbud to actually put in your ear, do not work so well for him. Like they're not compatible with his ear so much, because usually you get a pair of earbuds or earphones or whatever you want to call them, and they'll have multiple adapters that you can try for whatever works best for your ear. Apparently, they ain't getting that, these pros. Like, they just get given what they give, and they've got to put it in, even if it's uncomfortable, even if it's even painful to have in there the whole time while you're trying to concentrate and play a game. So it's interesting that we're hearing more and more about this pretty much all the time at the moment, and it's a lot of it is from the Sentinels guys, you know, Zelsis, TenZ talking about problems and frustrations. Other teams have said things as well. But I think maybe it's worth noting that because Sentinels, those guys have, you know, more outreach and more of a voice when they say this type of stuff, it's going to put more pressure on, right? Like, if other teams that are, you know, 8th, 9th, 10th in the league are complaining about stuff, it might be heard, but it might not be heard with that much weight. Whereas when, you know, TenZ and Zelsis are complaining about these things, it's absolutely putting pressure on to deliver a better performance for all involved. But very much enjoyed your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, take care, and I'll see you next time.